Hello, podcast listeners. I hope you're wearing a hat right now because I'm going to start with a story about a hat, and then we're going to go deep into ninja movies. Enjoy this episode of JJ Meets World. And by the way, if you'd like to help support our podcast, visit jjmeetsworld.com where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some killer swag at our merch shop, or click the link to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star review.
1, 2, 3, 4. J.J. Gordon, sort of like that Indiana Jones, in that he's always sniffing out his next adventure. Yes, he is! He's always interviewing guests so he can have them on his show and they can talk about pop culture, arts, and leisure. J.J. has his flag unfurled and he likes his french fries curled, and he's fun and then he twirled as he goes to meet the world. He will march into the rain even if his ankle sprained. Take a peek inside his brain. This podcast is called J.J. Meets World.
Tucker, to tell a story that this podcast is leading to, I need to take 2 steps back and explain that in the last couple of weeks, I have had a proclivity for a very specific adult beverage. Specifically, I have been taste testing around town extra dirty gin martinis. Now, I always request Hendrick's gin if they've got it. I tell them, like, listen, you can be liberal with the brine. And I'm judging on a couple things. We talked about how you've got your system for rating cheesesteaks. These are a couple of things that I noticed. Number one, I judge a place on how many olives they give me. You're going to give me 2 little basic B olives? Don't think so. You're already ruining part of the beauty that is the gin martini. Number 2, with the olives. Are you putting the olives on a stick? Because if you're not putting them on a stick, that's another thing that's missing out. But I've taste tested a bunch of these. Last night, I went out and it was a friend's birthday. And we went to a bunch of different restaurants and bars, and I taste tested more of these martinis.
Taste tested.
In fact, I taste tested so hard that my sunglasses have blood all over them, and I don't know where the blood's from.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, like it looks like maybe I punched somebody, but I don't think I did. But anyway, so I was also carrying around the theatrical poster for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids all night too. So it was a weird night. So I am probably 4 martinis deep by the time we go to a local watering hole called Dempsey's.
And this is really kind of like old school JJ friend group partying kind of stuff.
It really truly was. And here's the thing too is I just don't go out to bars anymore. It's not a part of my lifestyle. And it really, not that it ever really was. Like I was never someone who always went to a bar on a certain night.
You were off in the DD.
I was off in the DD. So I was kind of enjoying this, right? Because the people who frequent this establishment are now much younger than I am, right? They're the people in their mid to early 20s. And so I'm enjoying the vibe. I've got a ton of people I'm around. We're having a great time. The laughs are amazing. I'm kind of like looking up and down the bar just to kind of see who's there. And there are 2 younger women sitting at the end of the bar, probably like 15 feet away from where I'm standing. And I'm having a great time talking with a lot of people. Even my sister's out, so I was having fun with her. And I'm enjoying like my 6th now gin martini. And I'm in the middle of a conversation with Sean, our friend Sean, when one of these women come up, puts her hand on my shoulder, and I turn around and I've got a smile on, and she's like, "Hey, your hat is garbage," and then walks away.
Okay.
The thumbnail for this episode, I don't think I've ever forced this on you, but I'm going to send you a picture of the hat.
Okay.
Now this
you
hat,
were wearing a hat. You were wearing a hat, and she came and told you that it was garbage.
It was garbage, and then proceeded to like just walk away. Like wasn't like that hat's garbage. Ha 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 ha. Like just did it to be hateful. And so they walk away, and the 3 women that I'm with are all like, hold my goddamn drink. And like and I was like, don't. It does, like, I can't get kicked out of Dempsey's because you went and like started a thing with them. I appreciate it. I really, like, I really appreciate that. And so our buddy Phil's wife proceeds then to tell everyone else that we're with about how this girl came up and was just so rude about my hat. Now, you might think, well, did you have were you wearing a baseball hat that said, like, I screw on the first date or something like that? No, it's a fun little summer hat. I wear this hat all the time. It's a great little hat. And it's not like I'm not making a statement about who I am. I'm not flailing it around. This was not a situation where in fact, I didn't think I was pulling undue attention. And I didn't care about it until maybe 12 hours later. And now I'm really pissed off about it. Like, unjustly pissed off about this.
It's a weird thing that they would just do that.
Right.
Like,
and like, it's, like, and they were definitely like, they're definitely like Generation Z, or the people who are in their early 20s right now? The Zoomers.
I'm not sure.
I think they're the Zoomers. And so I wasn't in their space. I wasn't spilling drinks on them. I mean, Dempsey's wasn't even very full. So, everyone had tons of space. And I thought about this and I was like, somebody who has to go up to a complete stranger and say something hurtful like that. I mean, how does she not know that was maybe that's the hat my dead dad gave me, and we were all celebrating his funeral today. Maybe that hat means something to me. Maybe it's covering up my lobotomy scar because I donated brain tissue for a study. You don't know. Don't judge me.
Maybe there's a Ratatouille situation going on where there's a rodent under your hat and it's actually controlling your actions.
Thank you for bringing up. No one ever brings up Ratatouille when someone's wearing a hat, and it needs to be done. So this is what I would say. If you happen to know these two women who later like went home, were like, ha ha ha, we did it. We ruined that guy's night. You didn't ruin my night, but you ruined my Sunday afternoon.
That sucks, buddy. I'm sorry.
And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and tell this exact same story on the radio and let 60,000 people know how rude these two women were. And that'll be my revenge.
Yeah, you'll have to at least give some kind of a physical description of them or something. It's just so that
and here's the thing.
Unleash the hounds a bit.
My description is not complimentary in any way, shape, or form. And so I'm trying to be like, they go low, so you go high. And I'm trying really hard because the way I would describe them is not complimentary in the least. So that was a thing that happened to me on a Saturday, and it really bummed me out. And then somehow I got these mystery injuries, and I got blood all over my sunglasses and on the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids poster.
So where are your injuries again?
So my thumb on my left thumb, on the like tip of the thumb, it looks like I had hit it, and like there were like three little like blood boils. You know what I'm talking about? Where like it's not a cut, but it looks like there's like an area that is kind of filled with blood a little bit.
Okay, sure. Okay.
And then on my right hand, from my pinky to my middle finger, my knuckles are all scraped up, but not my pointer finger and not my thumb.
Huh. Well, you'd think if you had done that, you would have gone to like jail or something, or if you'd punched somebody.
Right. And nobody from the group I was with called me today.
And unless you punched Phil, because if you did, he probably just didn't feel it.
No. In fact, he's the one who got me home last night.
Wow.
He called the Uber for me. So then today I'm getting ready to go for Dungeons & Dragons. And like, this is how, like, I already interacted once with you this week when I was drunk. And so like getting drunk twice in a week, I mean, I'm good for the next 5 years, right? When I left to go play Dungeons & Dragons today, I step out of the house and I'm like, oh, I didn't park in the garage last night. That's stupid. What if it rained? So I walk out in the front yard and I'm like, oh, I'm not in the driveway. Did I park on the street with someone else in the driveway? And then I was like, oh my God, my car's gone. I've been robbed. Someone stole my car. And then it took me like a beat. And I'm like, oh yeah, I drove downtown and I left my car in downtown.
Mm-hmm.
It like, I'm just not built for this, man. Like this is just too beyond me.
That's the exact situation that has basically stopped me most of the time in the last 10 years, like from going out to a bar when like a friend invites me, because it's like, I really want to have my car tomorrow morning, right? Like I really want it to be here when I wake up instead of somewhere else, because now you gotta get to the car.
You know, it'd be kind of fun. Like, I wonder if there's a gig economy for bartenders where they like essentially you know, like you're like, hey, listen, I want to have the experience of going out with my friends and like having someone mix the drinks and stuff like that and do the dishes, but I don't want to do it. Maybe you can rent a bartender for 3 hours.
I mean, really what the answer probably is now is take an Uber to the bars and then take an Uber home.
You know, but even that, like, to be honest, there's something about an Uber, and I know that this is going to sound very get off my lawn, but like, I don't trust it 100%. Like, I feel weird because I'm riding in somebody's car, not a taxi, their car. Right? Also,
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Tucker, I don't know if I've ever said this out loud to you, but there are two things that I am 100% confident on. I mean, my confidence level in these things is through the roof. And it's because I've seen enough movies and listened to enough songs and watched enough television that I, number one, think that I for sure could survive a bear attack. Absolutely. Number two, I think I could help a woman give birth successfully.
Push! Just come on. Just push. It's on its way. Just push.
I've seen enough episodes of Call the Midwife.
You're gonna be in an elevator that's stuck.
Yes, that's the thing. Is like I would be called on to be a hero, like, or like I'm passing, like it's a dark road and I pass a car and like, oh no, this woman couldn't get to the hospital in time and the baby's coming now, and I'm like, all right, I've got some blankets. I think I think I could do it. I think that I could be an impromptu midwife.
So you're saying it, but it would be a situation where you happen to find yourself there. It's not like, oh, this is something you offer services for.
Correct.
But hey, there's an emergency. The baby's coming right now. And you know, it has to happen. And you're saying that you could deliver that baby.
Yes. I'm also not saying that I'm like walking around following a pregnant person being like, well, like I you know, it's not like my spidey senses tingle and I'm like, oh, today's the day I'm going to get called upon. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that if destiny decides that I am going to be on a ferry between an island off the coast of Massachusetts and the mainland, and someone's giving birth, I could help.
Yeah, just so all you folks know, if any of you happen to go into labor, pretty sure I could handle it. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I make that announcement literally everywhere I go.
I'm pretty sure I've got it covered. I feel very let's say I feel very confident that I could handle it.
When I'm making a hotel reservation and they're like, do you have any special requests? I always say, would you please alert the staff that you'll have a guest staying here who's fairly confident in his OBGYN birthing skills.
Yeah, you're doing dibs. It's calling shotgun, right?
Exactly.
You walk into the restaurant, you're like, just so everyone knows, I call the one catching the baby if a lady goes into labor while we're all here. Just so y'all know. Dibs.
Is there something you'd ever call dibs on where you're like, oh yeah, this is, you know, what's the thing that you irrationally think that like you could take care of, you'd be good at if you were called upon for it?
Oh, good. I don't have that.
You do. You've got to have at least one thing.
I would have to think about it. I couldn't come up with it off the top of my head. Yeah, what is something that I think, what's a situation that I think I could absolutely handle? I mean, I remember as a kid, I had come up with all sorts of ways I would take care of bank robbers if they came in.
Oh,
You know,
like in a bank or like in your home?
no, like in a bank, like I was with my mom and she had to go to the bank and we're there, and I would then imagine bank robbers coming in and what karate I would use
Okay.
to
Yeah,
disarm them,
to thwart them.
to thwart them. So maybe that's what I could probably handle. Is I could probably take on a squad of burglar goons in striped shirts,
Do you know why you think that?
because I watched a lot of Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, and X-Men.
I think specifically because you watched a lot of Home Alone, Three Ninjas
Yeah.
specifically,
Oh,
because
dude.
they're in like even Surf Ninjas. When we grew up,
Oh my God, Surf Ninjas.
that was a genre of
Yep.
film, which is kids use ninja
Yeah,
skills
karate.
and booby traps.
Kids are good at karate, and
Yep.
kids fight adults. You know. Oh, dude, Three Ninjas was my absolute fucking jam, and I was so upset that I didn't have like a Japanese grandfather to go stay with every summer, who would have given me my ninja name and would
Yep.
have carved me and painted me a kabuki mask, and that I would then be able to don that and be so good at martial arts from my time with my brothers at my Japanese grandfather's shack out in the woods.
I think it was a pretty nice home.
I can't really remember.
It was in rural California.
But he was out more in like a wooded area, because
Right.
I remember too, like he would do these tests, and at one point, because he had the three boys attack him, and then at one point I think there's like a cloud of smoke or something, and they realize he's now above them in a tree.
Yeah.
But the tree has thorns, and he didn't think about that.
Okay.
Rocky, Colt, and Tum Tum.
Rocky Colton. Rocky loves Emily. Rocky loves Emily.
Oh, and they also had the light in their room that would let them know when their parents were coming, so that they could pretend they were asleep. And so there was like a light that would like beep on and off, and they were like, "Oh God, mom's on her way," and then they'd all hide. I wanted that so bad.
Okay, so I would like to tell you a couple of things about the movie Three Ninjas. Okay, so Three Ninjas is directed by a guy named John Turteltaub. Okay, now John Turteltaub happens to direct Three Ninjas in 1992, Cool Runnings in 1993,
Ooh.
While You Were Sleeping in 1995, Phenomenon in 1996, Instinct in 1999, Disney's The Kid in 2000, National Treasure 2004, as well as National Treasure Book of Secrets and The Sorcerer's Apprentice for the same year, 2010, then The Meg.
Wow.
Like, this guy is, I mean, like, when not that like most of these are amazing movies, but this is a pretty good filmography for this guy.
For sure. He only did one Three Ninjas movie?
He did the first one.
Okay.
And then there's Three Ninjas Kick Back. Then there's Three Ninjas Knuckle Up.
Yep.
And then the last in the Three Ninjas franchise is Three Ninjas High Noon at Mega Mountain. Do you know who their co-star in that film is?
Terry Bollea, also known as Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan, as well as Jim Varney, too.
Oh, really? That's the only one I have not seen. But I remember I watched Knuckle Up a ton.
Really?
And I also remember seeing Kick Back in the theater, because Knuckle Up was straight to video, but Kick Back had a theatrical run. And my mom took my sister and I, and we were the only three people in the theater. And that was the first time I'd ever experienced that, of having a whole movie theater to myself.
Here's an interesting little factoid for you when it comes to three. So the first Three Ninjas movie is made for $2.5 million. It goes on to gross $29 million. Right? Really good, right? Like, that's a phenomenal return.
Yeah.
Three Ninjas Kick Back, which is the sequel that comes out 2 years later, has a budget of $20 million and only grosses just under $12 million.
Ugh.
Right?
So in the end, it's all a wash.
Yeah, bingo. Like, and they're like, they just kept chasing the dragon that is the Three Ninjas.
Yeah.
Over and over.
I'm trying to remember what it was from Surf Ninjas. What was the Is
Oh,
it Doy or no? It's Psych.
Psych.
That was the first time I remember hearing Psych and thinking that's the funniest thing. I gotta say that all the time now.
So, okay, Surf Ninjas, following this trail of this comes out in 1993. This
Hell
is a time
yeah.
when if you walked into a Hollywood studio and your script had the word ninja on it, they were buying it because the success of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, there's nothing about this that isn't like box office gold.
Yeah, but you're right. But at the same time, this is on the downslope, though, too. Like, this is where I'd say Ninja Turtle popularity really took a nosedive after 93. Actually, after 92, probably. And so, like, the ninja craze, like, that had started really in, like, the early 80s, almost mid 80s. That didn't even have Ninja Turtles in it yet, right? Ninja Turtles were basically kind of capitalizing on the ninja craze.
And
But the whole martial arts thing kind of kept going and then kind of petered out in the mid 90s until Power Rangers came around.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie from 1990, hugely successful, makes a ton of cash. The sequel also makes a ton of money. Going up against Surf Ninjas is 1993's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, which tanks at the box office.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Okay, so Surf Ninjas, and it stars Ernie Reyes Jr., who we had already just come to love from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 and how great he was. Tone Loc, who has a line where he goes, "Brothers don't surf." And that was the thing that I remembered. Rob Schneider is on in this movie.
Yep.
Do you remember who the villain is?
It's Leslie Nielsen.
As
isn't
a
it?
cyborg. He's half man, half
like
machine.
Cyborg samurai thing.
And like they awkwardly work Leslie Nielsen into the poster for this movie when it first comes out.
And
by
I
the way,
remember oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say Surf Ninjas was filmed in Los Angeles, Hawaii, and Thailand.
So
this movie had international production.
What was the older brother's like power or ability?
Like he was able, like he couldn't he like he could move like really fast, right?
I can't remember what his power was.
So that's why he was good at fighting, because he could move really fast.
Well, because the younger brother's power was his Game Gear that kind of told him the future.
Right.
And then Rob Schneider's like, well, I must have a power as well. And his character convinces himself that it's something like he says, and then it makes something happen. And he's convinced himself he also has a power, but he does not. I'm just trying to remember what the older brother's power was.
I mean, we'll just have to watch it, I think, right?
Yeah, we do have to watch it again. I mean, I remember distinctly sitting in the theater and just loving on that movie so hard. What was the actor's name again? Who was the lead? Who was also in Turtles 2?
Ernie Reyes Jr.
He was also in Turtles 1. He was just in the Turtles costume.
He was in a suit. The whole time. Yeah, he was, because was he Donatello? I think someone said.
Maybe. Possibly. What did he do after Surf Ninjas? I actually have no idea. I don't think I've seen him.
I love that you asked that question, because I will tell you what he did. So, by the way, he was also in The Last Dragon, where he and then Red Sonja, like at age 13. Like, this guy was clearly a go-to for martial arts in Hollywood. So he ends up in the movie Rush Hour 2. He is in the movie The Rundown with The Rock. Kung Fu: The Legend Continues with David Carradine. In 2006, Reyes hosted the MTV martial arts reality show Final Fu. He did stunt work for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Guest starred on a couple episodes of NCIS Los Angeles. And like, that's pretty much it. Like, he just hasn't done a lot since then. Oh, wait, hold on. In June of 2015, it was reported that Reyes was suffering from kidney failure and was in need of a transplant. According to his sister, Reyes undergoes dialysis 3 times per week for 4 hours each day. His family set up a GoFundMe campaign to help raise $75,000 for his medical expenses. In August of 2022, Reyes revealed that the transplant had been successful and that he was healthy.
Oh, nice. Good. Awesome.
Yeah. He married his current wife, Lisa, in 2009. They have 2 children named Lotus Blossom and Phoenix.
I like how you're just reading IMDb.
Yeah. He also has a kickboxing record that's out there. Oh, he's like Ernie. In fact, if anyone knows Ernie Reyes Jr., like, we'd like to invite him on the pod.
Oh my God. Holy shit. Would I not even give you a chance to speak during that? I would so be all over this guy. I really would.
Recently,
Anyone from the old Turtles movies, even like a Grip, right?
Yeah.
I would want to talk to any of them about
I just talked to someone who worked on the first Turtles movie.
Who'd you talk to?
Brian Henson, Jim Henson's son.
Oh,
Yeah, when I was in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And in fact, like there were a couple Turtles heads still like on display at Henson Studios.
Yeah. There's a great photo of Jim Henson with Leonardo in full costume.
It's so good. It's so good. In fact, they just launched a new Jim Henson shop that has some of his artwork. And so looks like I know what I'm asking for my birthday this year. And it's God, that hat is not garbage. It's a great summer hat. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help us continue to produce new episodes each week, visit jjmeetsworld.com, where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some swag at the merch shop, or follow our link to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the sites the cool kids are using these days. JJ Meets World is produced every week by Tucker Lucas. You can find out more about Tucker's work by visiting moonbasemaria.com. If you want to get in touch with your host with the most, check out linebenders.com, where you can find direct contact info for JJ or booking information. So I called Dempsey's and it turns out that they weren't even open last night. I must have been tripping.